There's only one man in the world with enough insanity to occupy 2 front seats in his death-dealing automobile. A man so crazy that even while driving, he's riding shotgun. In today's humble opinion, we're tripping over ourselves in Mad Max. Mad Max is a third-person action-adventure game developed by Avalanche Studios, developed and published by Feral Interactive, and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. If you're having an internal conflict over whether his nickname means he's a grumpy or a loony, you can rest comfortably knowing that he's both. It took me a while to pick up, but the guy actually hallucinates that his hallucination blows hallucinogens into his face so that he hallucinates a second time. Your path to self-improvement is being so crazy that you sort through your problems, which make you angry, and become less mad in both senses of the word. You're literally so crazy that you surpass 100% and eventually reset to 0%. Think about it. The story goes a little something like this. You are Mad Max, presumably the son of Angry Andrew and Salty Sandra, and the sweet ride that you got for your 16th birthday totally gets jacked by some rude dudes, and that shit does not fly. You know, because it's a car, not an airplane, you fucking doofus. So you make their utter destruction your personal goal. Luckily, you were at one point under the tutelage of the bitter bat in the art of fisticuffs, so you know how to make even the surliest of bruisers your bitch. But not your bottom bitch. That title belongs to this hot piece of ash right here.
Drop it.
His name might be Chum Bucket, but I can think of something much more appropriate, and it's only an H away. Damn, it's getting hot in here. Fucking deserts. Also, you have a dog whose only use is getting its ass kicked and finding landmines. Technically, you can do those things on your own, but I mean, the dog can do it without immediately dying. Joking aside, the story is actually pretty simplistic. Mad Max was alive before the Great War, something terrible happened, and he wants to repress it. His goal is to find the plains of silence and traverse them so that he may know peace. Assholes get in the way and steal his car for no apparent reason. However, fortune would have it that his mutilated manservant just so happens to want to erect more than just his master, if you know what I mean. He wants to bring a goddess to life. And luckily for Max, that goddess is a car. The only difficulties to the plan are the aforementioned assholes and their stranglehold on the land. Though the story on its own isn't the most impressive thing in literary history, it manages to be pretty immersive when combined with the lore of the world in which it takes place. The map is tremendous and is made up of several different territories of varying environments, constructions, and social atmospheres. The starting area, for instance, is what remains of the Pacific Ocean after all of the waters receded and is pretty much entirely uninhabitable except by a remote few. However, in a slightly more habitable area, there's a faction struggling to remain sovereign amidst a flurry of crazy psychopaths, and it's even more fleshed out beyond its physical implementation. The society shares a language and a culture that's oddly enough centered around the DMV, though it's a lot less boring these days. Cars are seen in what I would say is an almost religious way, but in actuality is literally exactly in a religious way to varying degrees. Like racing being seen as a way to bind the soul of a driver with that of its car. If you're wondering whether or not it holds a torch to the movies, I couldn't tell you. I've not seen the movies. But if it's any consolation, I've read where some people have said that a lot of the iconic places are in the game, like the Thunderdome. Regardless, the game made me want to see the movies, so I mean that has to count for something, right? Mad Max can normally be found on the Steam store for $19.99, though I should mention that at the time the bundle was actually released, it was $59.99. That's how it will be priced during the bundle review, so I thought I'd give you a heads up and explain that little detail. We're at that price now, I couldn't say that I'd recommend it, but at its current price, I absolutely would. Anything to the tune of $30 or lower would sound about right to me, especially if you can find it at its lowest Steam sale price of $9.99. Only $10 for all of this? Yowza. The gameplay for Mad Max weighs in at a 7.5 out of 10 because as much as I enjoy it, I can understand why some people wouldn't. The combat system is highly reminiscent of Warner Bros. Batman series, or Assassin's Creed, or Rise, Son of Rome. You know, mash a button, zip around a battlefield, bashing baddies, and counter when necessary. Even the scale of the world and its aspect of collection and discovery can be dampened if it's only viewed as a post-apocalyptic wrapper for mechanics present in other games. Still, it's impressive to see how diverse and creative all of the minute areas of the game can be while still contributing to and solidifying the lore of the world. There are also some things that the game does particularly well, like its car combat. In fact, I don't usually enjoy vehicular combat at all, but Mad Max manages to make it just as enjoyable as the rest of the game. The car, like Max, can be upgraded and enhanced, which kind of calls back to that religious aspect if you think about it. It's all wonderfully fleshed out and neatly tied up, and though the experience can look generic at first glance, it's one of the better video games based on movies that I've seen in, well, forever. Value for Mad Max earns a 9 out of 10 because while it's not absolutely perfect in the sense that everyone will love it, it's got a remarkably high production value, massive scale, and polished controls that all work together to create an experience worthy of having in a bundle. Except for having to hold down the E button to interact with things. I think a press would do, but to be fair, most of the animations take the duration of the button press, so I'll let it slide in favor of making the game feel slightly more interactive. In its composite score, Mad Max settles in at an 8.25 out of 10, which earns it a B-. It's surprisingly addictive and well weighted, which brings tremendous impact as an opening title for the bundle.